If the world was to end tomorrow, what's the last thing you would want to do?
Being with my family and listening to Wagner.
He always said that your legacy was in your children and the work you left behind. He used to like to say there should be no boundaries to human endeavor, and there really were none.
Recently, Stephen Hawking's daughter unveiled information that confirms everything the world knew about him. Stephen Hawking remains one of the most renowned scientists in modern history. Throughout his life, he dedicated immense time and effort to unraveling the mysteries of the universe, consistently sharing his groundbreaking insights with the world. Despite his passing in March 2018 after a long struggle with ALS, Hawking's legacy continues through his mind-blowing scientific contributions. He did more than just change our understanding of the universe. He also left us with significant warnings about the future of humanity. Join us as we dive into Hawking's life, his unparalleled impact, and the critical messages he imparted before his departure that were revealed. Life and education. Hawking was born in January 1942 and raised in Oxford, England. He began his university education at University College, Oxford, where he studied physics. Despite early academic struggles, he graduated with a first-class bachelor's degree in physics. Hawking's pursuit of higher education continued at Trinity Hall, Cambridge, where he obtained his doctorate in applied mathematics and theoretical physics, specializing in cosmology and general relativity. His academic journey was heavily influenced by his fascination with Albert Einstein's theory of relativity. This inspiration drove him to explore the deeper mysteries of the universe, particularly the dynamics of black holes and the foundational elements of the cosmos. His interest was more than just academic. From a young age, Hawking exhibited a deep curiosity about the nature of the universe, a curiosity that was nurtured by his educational environment and mentors. And what Hawking's daughter reveals about him confirms what the world has thought of him all along. At Cambridge, Hawking found himself surrounded by some of the most brilliant minds in physics. It was here that he began his groundbreaking work on singularities within the framework of general relativity, which would later form the basis for his insights into black holes. Hawking's time at Cambridge was both formative for his scientific theories and his development as a communicator of science. He was known for his ability to explain complex scientific concepts in terms that those outside the scientific community could understand. This skill would later define much of his public persona and his written works, making him one of the most recognizable scientists of his time. His educational and early professional experiences laid the foundation for his later achievements and his enduring legacy in theoretical physics. But he didn't leave his identity as a scientist behind in the familial world. He let his children experience it too. Stephen Hawking, as seen by Lucy Hawking. His daughter, Lucy Hawking, offers personal insights into her father's life and public persona. She starts by describing the family's daily experiences in Cambridge, where Stephen Hawking, despite his physical limitations, navigated the city in his electric wheelchair. Lucy recalls, "My father had his own electric wheelchair which he used to drive at great speed across the whole of Cambridge, accompanied by me and my older brothers." The sight of Stephen Hawking moving so freely often surprised onlookers. Lucy notes the public's reaction. "People would just stand there and stare as my father had his own electric wheelchair." She adds that onlookers were bewildered by the sight of the children running alongside him, some even carrying ice creams, which contributed to their amazement and shock. At home, Stephen Hawking's life was rich with intellectual engagement. He frequently hosted scientific colleagues for dinner, creating an environment where no talk was out of bounds. Lucy emphasizes the inclusive nature of these discussions, pointing out that as a child, you could ask any question you wanted and get a reply. This openness facilitated a stimulating environment that encouraged curiosity and learning among everyone in the household. One particularly memorable instance Lucy shares involves her son's birthday party, which illustrates Stephen Hawking's ability to explain complex scientific concepts in simple terms that children could understand. A child guest asked what would happen if they fell into a black hole. Stephen Hawking replied, "You'd be turned into spaghetti." This response, while humorous, effectively communicated the concept of spaghettification in a black hole's gravitational field. Lucy reflects on the impact of his answer. All the kids were really thrilled and they totally understood his answer, and all the adults kind of pretended they didn't. Lucy also discusses a collaborative project with her father, where they decided to combine her storytelling skills with his scientific expertise. Inspired by the way her father made complex ideas accessible, she proposed, "I think we should do this. I think I'll write the story, and you put in the accurate scientific descriptions of the universe." This led to a series of children's books aimed at explaining the universe through engaging narratives. The influence of Stephen Hawking's perseverance in the face of adversity reached beyond academic circles. Lucy highlights how her father's story resonated with people globally, particularly those in challenging circumstances such as war zones. She remarks on the inspiration drawn from his life. People who have lived in war zones seem to find something very inspirational in his example of perseverance and persistence and his kind of ability to rise above his suffering and still want to communicate at a higher level with humor. Lucy's accounts shed light on the everyday aspects of Stephen Hawking's life that would otherwise have remained a secret. It portrays him as a brilliant physicist, an engaged father, and a source of inspiration for people around the world. And this is just the beginning. His career was more decorated than any scientist ever. Career and achievements. Stephen Hawking's professional career was marked by his deep involvement in understanding the universe's fundamental laws, particularly through his work on black holes and cosmology. His research made significant contributions to the theories of cosmology, general relativity, and quantum mechanics, particularly through his groundbreaking work on black holes, which began during his time at Cambridge. One of Hawking's most significant achievements was his theoretical prediction that black holes emit radiation, later termed Hawking radiation. This discovery challenged the prevailing notion that nothing could escape a black hole, suggesting instead that black holes could emit radiation and eventually evaporate. This work was pivotal in bridging the gap between quantum mechanics and general relativity, two pillars of modern physics that had previously seemed incompatible. Hawking's ability to communicate complex scientific ideas was as notable as his academic achievements. He was dedicated to public engagement, often sharing his discoveries and the exciting possibilities of theoretical physics with a broader audience. This commitment was exemplified in his best-selling book, A Brief History of Time, which made complex scientific concepts accessible to millions of readers worldwide. The book remained on the British Sunday Times bestsellers list for a record-breaking 237 weeks. Throughout his career, Hawking received numerous awards and honors, acknowledging his contributions to science and his ability to inspire public interest in physics. He was a Fellow of the Royal Society and a member of the United States National Academy of Sciences. Hawking's work extended beyond theoretical physics. He was deeply involved in popularizing science, participating in television documentaries and writing books that helped demystify the universe for non-scientists. Hawking's legacy in scientific achievement and his role as an ambassador of science continue to influence both seasoned researchers and budding scientists around the world. His theoretical achievements have been unlike anyone else's, but so have the personal challenges throughout his remarkable career. Health challenges. Hawking was diagnosed with amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, also known as Lou Gehrig's disease, at the age of 21. Initially given a prognosis of only a few years to live, Hawking's condition gradually paralyzed him over the decades. Despite the severe physical limitations imposed by his illness, his mental capacity remained sharp, allowing him to continue his work in theoretical physics. The diagnosis came during his early years at Cambridge, yet it did not deter him from his research. Hawking used a variety of technologies to communicate and work, including a speech-generating device operated through cheek muscle movements. This technology was instrumental in allowing him to continue lecturing, writing, and conducting research. Hawking's determination to pursue his scientific interests despite his illness was more than just a personal triumph. It also served as a source of inspiration to millions around the world. He continued to contribute to our understanding of the universe, focusing on cosmological phenomena such as black holes and the Big Bang theory. His work in these areas, conducted under the shadow of a life-limiting illness, showed the intense capabilities of the human spirit when confronted with adversity. Throughout his career, Hawking never allowed his physical condition to stop him on his quest for knowledge. His continued contributions to science, made despite his declining health, were facilitated by his use of cutting-edge technology to communicate his thoughts and findings. This intersection of human will and technological advancement was a signature of his career, demonstrating that physical limitations do not constrain intellectual and scientific pursuit. It also left Hawking's focus on the future of humanity undeterred, and his visionary perspective is just truly unique: the vision for the future. Hawking was vocal about the need for humanity to explore opportunities beyond Earth due to the existential threats facing our planet. His foresight into these issues prompted him to advocate strongly for the establishment of human colonies on other celestial bodies, notably the Moon and Mars. This vision was driven by his understanding of the vulnerabilities Earth faces from environmental degradation, overpopulation, nuclear war, and potential pandemics. Hawking often highlighted the fragility of human existence on a planet with limited resources and the increasing likelihood of catastrophic events. He famously revised his earlier estimation of how long humanity had to make significant strides in space colonization. Initially suggesting a millennium, he later adjusted this time frame to just 100 years, emphasizing a more urgent timeline for human survival and the necessity of becoming a multiplanetary species. In his discussions, Hawking stated, "We have less than 100 years to establish a colony on another planet." This urgency truly highlighted his belief that spreading humanity across different celestial bodies is imperative for the survival of the human race. His rationale was that diversifying human settlements would reduce the risk of extinction from any single catastrophic event on Earth. Hawking did not underestimate the practical challenges of such endeavors. He acknowledged the significant hurdles in establishing sustainable habitats on other planets, from creating viable ecosystems to overcoming the harsh environments of space. Yet his optimism about human ingenuity and technological advancement shone through his discussions and writings. He really did believe that the same creativity and drive that had moved humanity through centuries of discovery could be harnessed to tackle these interstellar challenges. Hawking's vision for humanity's future extended to his public engagements and writings, where he consistently urged global leaders, scientists, and the public to invest in space exploration technologies and consider the long-term prospects of our species. Although he does show an open-mindedness for the future, let's take a bit of a closer look at his concerns about the broader impacts of technology on humanity. They're not quite the same as you would think. Technological and existential risks. Stephen Hawking expressed significant concerns about the unfettered advancement of technology, especially regarding artificial intelligence and environmental degradation. His apprehensions were rooted in the impact of the Anthropocene era, a period characterized by human activity being the dominant influence on climate and the environment. Hawking warned that this era might be marked by significant technological advancements that could be beyond human control and have unforeseen consequences on Earth. One of his most vocal concerns was the development and application of artificial intelligence. He believed that AI could evolve beyond human control, stating, "The development of full artificial intelligence could spell the end of the human race." This warning highlighted his fear that AI might one day be able to redesign itself at an ever-increasing rate, surpassing human intellectual capabilities and potentially acting in ways contrary to human interests. Furthermore, Hawking discussed the ethical and security challenges posed by advancements in technology, particularly those related to the internet and AI. He observed that while these technologies had the potential to revolutionize human societies positively, they also posed significant risks if not properly regulated. He highlighted the dual-use nature of technology, which could be used for both beneficial and harmful purposes. Hawking emphasized the need for effective governance and regulatory frameworks to manage these risks. He argued for the establishment of rules that could preemptively reduce the negative impacts of emerging technologies while promoting their positive benefits. Specifically, he noted the importance of balancing innovation with safety, particularly in the context of AI, where rapid advancements could outpace the ability of societies to adapt safely and ethically. His insights into the risks of technology were more than just theoretical concerns. They were calls to action for policymakers, technologists, and the global community to take the potential threats posed by technological progress seriously, and to work proactively to ensure that technology serves humanity beneficially rather than detrimentally. After considering the broader implications of technology, let's focus on Stephen Hawking's specific thoughts on artificial intelligence. But Hawking has a great personality outside of being a scientist. In fact, he can add actor on his resume too. Public and media perception. Stephen Hawking's depiction in media and public life radically influenced public perceptions of science, particularly theoretical physics, and cemented his status as a cultural icon. His life story and scientific achievements reached a broad audience through the 2014 biographical film, The Theory of Everything. The film, which showcased his early years, career, and struggle with ALS, starred Eddie Redmayne, whose performance earned an Academy Award. This portrayal humanized Hawking, presenting him as a resilient genius whose contributions to science transcended his physical limitations. It played a crucial role in making complex scientific concepts more accessible and sparked increased public interest in subjects like cosmology and black holes. Hawking's unique media engagements extended into popular television series, where his appearances helped demystify science while promoting it in an entertaining format. Notably, he appeared as himself in Star Trek: The Next Generation, playing poker with historical figures such as Albert Einstein and Isaac Newton. This cameo was significant, as it was the only instance where a guest star played themselves in the series. Hawking's inclusion in Star Trek, a series celebrated for its scientific and philosophical explorations, really showed his status and willingness to engage with science fiction to discuss real scientific ideas. His influence spread to other areas of popular culture, notably his recurring appearances on The Simpsons. Here, Hawking was portrayed with humor and warmth, participating in episodes that playfully engaged with his public persona and scientific ideas. These appearances were pivotal in portraying scientists in a more relatable and humorous light, challenging stereotypes and making theoretical physics approachable for a general audience. Moreover, Hawking's guest appearance on The Big Bang Theory further bridged the gap between complex scientific discourse and mainstream entertainment. By interacting with the show's characters, all young scientists, he lent authenticity to the show's portrayal of scientific discussion and highlighted the importance of science in everyday life. Like any public figure, Hawking too is the subject of many conspiracy theories. Craziest conspiracy theories. One of the most persistent conspiracy theories suggests that the real Stephen Hawking died in the 1980s and was replaced by a look-alike or even a sophisticated animatronic puppet controlled by the government or other shadowy figures. Supporters of this theory argue that this switch was made to continue promoting certain scientific ideas beneficial to powerful entities or to maintain public funding for scientific research. They claim inconsistencies in his appearance over the years as supposed evidence of this replacement. There's another theory that goes that Hawking's groundbreaking theories and writings were not his own. Rather, they were actually produced by a team of elite scientists working behind the scenes. According to this narrative, Hawking was merely a figurehead chosen for his compelling personal story of overcoming ALS. Adding a supernatural twist, some conspiracy theorists believe that Hawking possessed secret knowledge about aliens and the true nature of the universe, which he either subtly revealed in his work or was prevented from disclosing by government agencies. This theory aligns with broader alien conspiracy narratives that suggest world-renowned scientists are part of a global cover-up regarding extraterrestrial life. While these theories are unsupported by evidence and dismissed by the scientific community, they continue to circulate in some corners of the internet. Apart from the rumors, Hawkins has not let anything stop him from contributing to the causes he cares most for. Global initiatives. Inspired by Hawking, Stephen Hawking's work and legacy have kickstarted numerous global initiatives in science and education, showing his impact far beyond the boundaries of theoretical physics. One of the significant educational initiatives inspired by Hawking is the Stephen Hawking Foundation, which provides scholarships for students pursuing studies in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. These scholarships are especially critical in supporting students who may not have the financial means to access high-quality education in these fields, thereby fostering diversity and inclusivity in the scientific community. The foundation also funds research grants to projects that align with topics that were close to Hawking's heart, including cosmology, space exploration, and neurosciences, particularly research into motor neuron disease, which Hawking battled throughout his life. Moreover, Hawking's interest in communicating science to a broader audience helped in the creation of public science projects and exhibitions. An example is the Stephen Hawking at Work exhibition at the Science Museum in London, which displays artifacts from Hawking's office and personal archives. The exhibition provides insight into Hawking's scientific process and personal journey, illustrating his contributions to cosmology and theoretical physics, while also highlighting his unique methods of working amidst the challenges posed by his condition. Globally, universities and research institutions have established lectures and outreach programs in Hawking's name to promote public engagement with science. The annual Stephen Hawking Lecture at Cambridge University is designed to address complex scientific topics in an accessible manner to encourage public interest in science. These lectures often feature eminent scientists who continue Hawking's legacy of making science approachable and exciting. Additionally, international collaborations inspired by Hawking's work have led to new research projects exploring fundamental questions about the universe. These include efforts to understand black holes, quantum gravity, and the early universe, areas where Hawking made foundational contributions. Collaborative research initiatives often involve multiple countries, bringing together diverse scientific perspectives to tackle these complex topics. Through these various initiatives, Stephen Hawking's legacy continues to inspire educational and scientific endeavors worldwide. However, as much as Hawking is celebrated, a lot of his success is credited to the scientists who came before him. Richard Feynman. Richard Feynman was a major figure in the development of quantum mechanics and quantum electrodynamics, his contributions fundamentally altering our understanding of the interactions between light and matter. Renowned for his distinctive ability to explain complex scientific concepts in an accessible and engaging manner, Feynman shared a similar gift with Stephen Hawking for making advanced science understandable and intriguing to the public. Feynman's most notable scientific achievement was the reformulation of quantum electrodynamics. His introduction of the Feynman diagrams was revolutionary. These graphical representations allowed physicists to visualize and calculate the behavior of particles interacting through electromagnetic forces. This work earned him the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1965, which he shared with Julian Schwinger and Shinichiro Tomonaga. The Feynman diagrams have since become a fundamental tool in quantum field theory and particle physics, illustrating processes like particle decay and collisions in a straightforward, intuitive manner. In addition to his technical contributions, Feynman's approach to teaching physics was groundbreaking. His lectures at Caltech, later published as the Feynman Lectures on Physics, are celebrated for their clarity, insight, and ability to convey the excitement of discovery and understanding. These lectures cover everything from the basic principles of Newtonian physics to the more complex realms of quantum mechanics and superfluidity, making them invaluable resources for both beginners and seasoned physicists. Feynman was also known for his adventurous spirit and unorthodox style, often bringing a playful approach to both teaching and research. His famous experiments, like the demonstration of the O-ring's failure in cold temperatures during the investigation of the Space Shuttle Challenger disaster, highlighted his hands-on, intuitive approach to science. He believed in the philosophy of understanding over memorization, which he practiced by breaking down complex theories into simpler, more approachable components. His ability to connect with a broader audience was further demonstrated in his books aimed at non-scientists, such as "Surely You're Joking, Mr. Feynman," and "What Do You Care What Other People Think?" These autobiographical works provide insight into his curious character and his philosophical views on creativity and innovation in science. Like Hawking, Richard Feynman left a lasting impact through his scientific contributions and his ability to engage a global audience with the wonders of physics, and others have followed suit on this path too. Michio Kaku. Michio Kaku, a prominent theoretical physicist and co-founder of string field theory, has made significant contributions to the advancement of string theory, a critical area in theoretical physics that attempts to reconcile quantum mechanics and general relativity. His work in this field builds on a framework that suggests the fundamental particles we observe are not point-like dots, but rather tiny, vibrating strings. Kaku's research has helped propel forward the understanding of string theory, providing new ways to conceptualize the fabric of the universe. Kaku is well known for his scientific achievements and his ability to distill complex scientific ideas into engaging and digestible concepts for the public. Like Stephen Hawking, Kaku has a keen interest in discussing the future implications of current scientific theories and technological advancements. His books, such as Physics of the Future and The Future of the Mind, explore how science will shape the future of humanity over the next century. These works dive into speculative technologies, such as robotics, artificial intelligence, and nanotechnology, offering predictions on how these developments could revolutionize everyday life, medicine, and even human capabilities. Kaku frequently discusses the potential of future technologies to solve some of today's most challenging problems and to expand our capabilities as a species. His optimistic outlook on the potential of science to bring about societal improvements aligns with Hawking's enthusiasm for space exploration and theoretical physics' potential to unveil the mysteries of the cosmos. However, while Hawking often highlighted the potential dangers and ethical considerations associated with artificial intelligence and contact with extraterrestrial life, Kaku tends to emphasize the positive aspects of scientific advancement, imagining a future where humanity has mastered much of the natural world. Moreover, Kaku's insights into the universe's fate also parallel some of Hawking's explorations into the ultimate destiny of the universe, particularly regarding the theories about the end of the universe, such as the Big Freeze, Big Rip, or Big Crunch. Michio Kaku's work and public outreach continue to inspire a sense of wonder and curiosity about the universe, much like Stephen Hawking's legacy. Some have even had a chance to work with the great genius himself, Roger Penrose. Roger Penrose, a distinguished mathematical physicist, was very significant in advancing our understanding of space-time singularities through his collaboration with Stephen Hawking. Together, they developed the Penrose-Hawking singularity theorems, which have fundamentally changed our understanding of the conditions under which singularities occur within the framework of general relativity. Building on Penrose's initial findings, Hawking applied similar concepts to the universe as a whole. Their combined efforts in the late 1960s led to the formulation of the Penrose-Hawking singularity theorems, which demonstrated that the universe must have begun as a singularity if general relativity reliably describes the gravitational forces at work, particularly under conditions of extreme density. This work provided some of the theoretical underpinnings for the Big Bang theory, suggesting that the universe originated from a single, infinitely dense point. Their work remains crucial for physicists grappling with the grand challenge of unifying the fundamental forces of nature under a single theoretical framework. But not all of them are on the exact same page. Carl Sagan. Carl Sagan was a pivotal figure in the popularization of cosmology and the public's understanding of the universe. His impactful influence extended beyond the academic community to the general public, primarily through his television series, Cosmos, A Personal Voyage. This groundbreaking series, first broadcast in 1980, brought the wonders of the universe to millions of homes around the world, making complex astronomical concepts accessible and exciting. Sagan's views on extraterrestrial life, as explored in his books and the television series, were rooted in a mixture of scientific skepticism and optimistic curiosity. He famously speculated on the existence and nature of extraterrestrial civilizations in his book, Contact, which was later adapted into a major motion picture. Unlike Stephen Hawking, who expressed concerns about the potential dangers of contacting alien civilizations, Sagan was more hopeful about the prospects of such interactions. He advocated for the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, believing that communication with alien species could bring many benefits, such as sharing knowledge and technology. Hawking, on the other hand, cautioned against active attempts to contact extraterrestrial life, arguing that such contact could be similar to the encounters between Europeans and Native Americans, which were largely damaging to the latter. Despite their differing views, both Sagan and Hawking succeeded in elevating public discourse on cosmology and extraterrestrial life. And then, there are those who took inspiration from his work to go further on. Kip Thorne. Kip Thorne, a distinguished theoretical physicist, has made far-reaching contributions to gravitational physics and astrophysics, particularly through his pioneering work on gravitational waves and the theoretical underpinnings of wormholes and time travel. His research has significantly complemented and expanded upon Stephen Hawking's explorations of black holes, further enriching our understanding of the universe. Thorne's work on gravitational waves stands as one of his most significant contributions. As one of the leading minds behind the Laser Interferometer Gravitational Wave Observatory project, Thorne helped to conceptualize and develop the experimental approach that would eventually confirm the existence of gravitational waves in 2015. This monumental discovery provided the first direct evidence of these ripples in space-time, predicted by Albert Einstein's theory of general relativity over a century ago. Gravitational waves result from some of the most violent and energetic processes in the universe, such as black hole mergers and neutron-star collisions. Thorne's contributions to the Laser Interferometer Gravitational Wave Observatory project have opened a new window onto the cosmos, enabling astronomers to observe phenomena that were once only theoretical. Beyond gravitational waves, Thorne's fascination with the more speculative aspects of general relativity led him to explore the possibilities of wormholes and time travel. His theoretical work on wormholes, which are hypothetical shortcuts through space-time, has provided a foundation for understanding how these could, in theory, allow for faster-than-light travel between distant parts of the universe. While wormholes have not been observed, Thorne's analyses have been crucial in demonstrating how they might exist within the framework of established physics, under certain exotic conditions. Thorne has also delved into the possibility of time travel via these wormholes. He proposed that if a wormhole could be stabilized with exotic matter, it might allow for time travel into the past or future, a concept that has captured the imagination of both scientists and the general public. This work ties closely with Hawking's own theoretical investigations into the quantum properties of black holes, particularly around the edges where general relativity and quantum mechanics intersect and produce paradoxical effects. Thanks for exploring with us on Beyond Discovery. If you enjoyed these revelations, click now on the next video that pops up on your screen. It's unbelievable.